My ovarian cancer story began with a bicycle accident. I was 25, living in Louisville, Kentucky, and I had a car, but in my neighborhood, it was cool to ride your bike. One night, I was riding home with my friends from a concert. We were cutting through trails, and I missed a curve and totally wiped out. I had a cracked rib, some gnarly road burn, a huge hematoma on my thigh. For the next 3 weeks, I didn't heal up as expected and even started experiencing some strange new symptoms like frequent urination and intense pelvic pain that eventually sent me to the ER. That's when the mass was first identified. I'll never forget how quickly things spiraled from there. I was diagnosed with stage 3C ovarian cancer on a Friday and admitted to the hospital that day. I had emergency surgery 2 days later on a Sunday, which left a 13-inch scar from here all the way down. And I started my first cycle of inpatient chemo just a week later. Initially, I wanted to refuse chemo because among all of the possible horrible side effects that they told me about, the type of chemo cocktail that I needed posed a 10% risk of hearing loss. Temporary hearing loss, they said. Minimal risk, they said. But I am a musician. I've been playing the fiddle since I was 8 years old. I'm a songwriter. I'm a music therapist. I use music to help students with special needs achieve their goals. My ears are my livelihood. I cannot risk them. So I said no to chemo. But my doctor said, this is your only shot. And I wasn't ready to give up and die at 25 years old, so I agreed to start with chemotherapy. I started losing my hair after the very first cycle, and it became a chore to clean up the thin strands that were rapidly falling out. One day, a dear friend came to me and said, if you want to shave your head, I'll shave mine too. So we made a spectacle of it, set up a video camera, invited people to watch, and shaved each other's heads. When it was over, I walked into the living room and announced to my family, here I am, everyone, I'm bald. My grandpa, who was 82 and quick as a whip, flashed a big grin up at me and said, that's all right, my babe, I've been bald for years. Even though I had already seen myself in the mirror, I was afraid to watch the head shaving video. Even as an adult, when I saw myself in photos and videos, all I could see was an insecure, chubby little girl hiding behind a fiddle. And now that chubby little girl was bald. Music has always been my source of pride, the roots of my confidence, never my appearance. Playing the violin earned me a large scholarship to study music therapy in college and a spot with a collegiate orchestra that performed at Carnegie Hall when I was 20 years old. So when I watched the head shaving video, I didn't expect to notice such a gorgeous smile radiating from my face. I didn't expect to notice such bright eyes that totally eclipse the sunken-in dark circles beneath them. And I didn't expect to have such an exceptionally round head that looked just fine. Just fine without hair. When I watched that video, I expected to see a woman who was ugly, dying, and defeated, but instead, all I saw for the first time in my life was beauty and love. The love I saw in myself was a direct result of all the people who were feeding me with their affection. It was like I was a plant and their love was the sun, and it was so nutritious. My mom came to me the day I was admitted to the hospital, and she never left my side. Countless members of family drove in from out of town to see me. My friends came to visit with their guitars, and they would take shifts playing music at my bedside, whether I was awake or not. So when I started noticing, The music was essential. The music, in its own way, was healing. So when I started noticing a difference in my hearing perception, I was upset. And when I found out that it was permanent, I was ruined. My hearing loss started with the high frequencies. I noticed that I wasn't hearing S sounds in conversations with other people. Then gradually, I stopped hearing sounds like the oven timer beeping or wind whistling, and eventually I couldn't even hear the phone ring. My hearing loss reached its lowest point after I had to return for follow-up treatment. During a bone marrow transplant, serious complications like kidney failure and a mild stroke made it worse. One day, I was listening to a song that I had previously recorded with my little roots band called Blunt Honey. It was a slow song with waning fiddle parts and a striking solo in the highest register of the instrument. I heard the verse and the chorus and the bridge, but when it came time for the solo, I didn't hear it. I heard the bass, I heard the rhythm guitar tracks, but I didn't hear the fiddle part. I knew what it sounded like. I could imagine it, that gorgeous melody I had written and recorded, but I didn't hear it. I cried. I sobbed. I listened back to the track again and again and again, trying in vain to hear just a little sliver of it, but I couldn't. I was devastated. I felt like my life was over. But that was not the end of my life. It was just the beginning of my second act. With a lot of love from the people around me, I learned how to adapt. I got fitted for hearing aids. I enabled the hearing impaired function on my cell phone. I watch TV with closed captioning now. I learned to tune my fiddle by feeling the vibration of the instrument through my teeth. I regained my muscle memory by practicing 20 minutes a day, every day. I even started performing again. I returned to my music therapy internship and graduated on May the 10th, which happens to be my birthday. My second act is a conscious decision to take back my life after cancer. It's a decision that I make every day. Every day I wake up and I think, my life is beautiful. This day is beautiful, and I'm so happy to be here.